the state. As you might be well aware, on the 25th day of June 2024, the youth or the youthful population of this country, now famously known as the Gen Zs and the millennials, took to the streets to demonstrate against what we call the anti-government protest, protesting against the lack of transparency or accountability from the government. Now, subsequent to the events of the 25th day of June 2024, we have seen a number of protests on every Thursday and Friday that is attributed to the youths who've been calling out accountability from the government and transparency from the same government, led by His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya. But again, we have seen a lot of confusion from the government, as the government has been trying to clutch on straws, wondering and being lost as to who has been sponsoring these protests or demonstrations or anti-government protest. Now, as late as the 31st day of August 2024, our clients, Honorable James Mwangi Gakuya and Honorable Benjamin Gadhiru, aka Major Donk, of Embakasi Central, were summoned at the DCI headquarters over allegations that they have been sponsoring the anti-government protest that we've been witnessing for the past 1 month and counting. Now, of particular interest is that the DCI in his wisdom thought that this honorable gentleman representing Embakasi North, this is Bazenga, aka Mwangi James Gakuya, and Major Donk of Embakasi Central. They were said to be sponsoring this anti-government protest and, to have nexus, some connection with the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. And for that reason, the government was questioning them. On the 31st day of August, the government went ahead to even harass them by asking them unending questions, trying to create a nexus between the protest and their leadership. Now, through instructions that we received from them, we filed a petition before my Lord Justice Muita. And my Lord Justice Muita, upon being confronted with the facts that there has been allegations and there is an attempt emanating from the office of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Mr. Mohammed Amin, and the office of the DPP, there is some concerted effort between those two offices to undermine the leadership of this honorable gentleman, to have them arrested in an attempt to intimidate them, because there is this misconceived notion that they have been sponsoring this anti-government protest. So for that reason, we approached the Honorable Court. My Lord Justice Muita, yesterday on the 5th day of August 2024, issued orders that have consequently stopped the DCI from summoning, from intimidating, or from harassing the Honorable James Mwangi Gakuya of Embakasi North and the Honorable Benjamin Gadhiru, aka Major Donk of Embakasi Central. So we are seeing, the courts are coming out strongly to be our bastion of hope, to be the protectors of the constitutional democracy that we have embraced unto ourselves. We cannot lose sight of the reasons why these anti-government protests have been there. We know for a fact that the young generation of this Republic of Kenya have been coming out conspicuously and loudly to speak against the injustices that we've been seeing from the government, the lack of accountability and the lack of transparency. It cannot be in the mouths or the hands of the very same government to try and distract us by trying to arrest or causing the arrest and intimidation of leaders by the name of, attributing the anti-government protest to some of these leaders. We know for a fact that these young men have been leaderless. These young individuals of the Republic of Kenya, we have been partyless. The reason why this young generation has been going out to the street is well known. It's within the public knowledge and domain that we've been calling for accountability, and we cannot be distracted by the bringing in of the name of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, or the dragging in of the names of some honorable members of parliament who are thought to be supporting or to be aligned with the leadership of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. So with that, I will surrender the floor to my senior, Mr. Dan, the day of September 2024. Thank you.
It started as a revolution where the young people raised very fundamental accounting questions. Those fundamental accounting questions brought about the questions of the transparency and capability of the then cabinet led by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto's capacity to lead the country. Out of that, the demonstrations were organic, and the government responded first by saying the demonstrations were being funded by the Russians. That was on record from the official government spokesman. It turned out it was Ford Foundation that was funding the demonstrations. It moved from Ford Foundation, it was brought into the door of the sitting Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Gachagua Rigiji. Out of that line, his supporters, his key supporters, one being Honorable James Mwangi Gakuya and Major Donk, were targeted, and other people were arrested, and also very many young people disappeared that have not been accounted for. The two members of parliament were hounded from parliament buildings without their lawyers, taken to the DCI. They were held incommunicado. They were questioned on two things: their relationship with one, His Excellency the Deputy President, Gachagua. They were questioned whether they have funds. Investigations were done. They were told to surrender their telephone handset. When they called us, we advised them not to surrender the telephone handsets. That extended to the premises of the Deputy President. His staffs were questioned. They recorded statements. Then, after we instructed our clients not to give their telephone handsets because there is no court order, the police went to Kiambu through a miscellaneous application, got ex parte orders to pick the phones of the members of parliament. Out of the court order, our clients surrendered their mobile phones, so they are being analyzed by the cybercrime officers. Based on that, we moved to court with speed to get interim orders, conservatory orders, and the Lord Justice Mwita has granted the orders to stop the police and any investigative or prosecutorial agencies from arresting, detaining, arraigning, harassing, or stopping the enjoyment and the liberty of the two members of parliament. We since have served the orders to the relevant agencies, and we shall be defending the members of parliament, because what we are seeing now is that Kenya never changes. In 2013 and to 2017, there was no such actions that we are seeing. 2017 to 2022, there was arrests and arraignment of members of UDA, then an opposition party within government. They were arraigned, we stood firm, defended them, they got power. After they got power, in 2022 to 2024, the state machinery was turned against Azimio members. We still stood firm and defended the Azimio members, who have now gone to be government. They have turned from being those who are arrested, they are now the arresters. They are now targeting their guns against the internal strife within UDA where there's one party, one faction led by His Excellency, the President, on top of it, Raila Odinga and his team, and the other party, Gachagua, who is now an outsider. He sits at the same position the Deputy President then, now the President of the Republic of Kenya, was sitting. The DCI has now again been unleashed on these people who are still in UDA, but they are perceived to be outside. We will defend them. If anybody wants to remove Gachagua, if anybody wants to remove, to deal with the Deputy President, kindly deal with him politically, through an impeachment process, through the political process, through systems known by law. We will be putting on alert that any police officer who will be used to exercise powers outside the powers provided for in Article 245 and 244 of the Constitution, forming up the National Police Service Commission, we shall be going against them in their own capacity, in their own names. We shall not be suing the National Police Service Commission. We shall be going into their own names, and they shall not be accorded any representation by taxes paid by citizens. They will have to hire their lawyers, and once they lose, they will have to pay the damages and compensation. So for now, Mheshimiwa Gakuya, Mheshimiwa Major Donk are free to exercise their rights because the courts have spoken. Tuliyosema ni kwamba iko nguvu imeanza kutumia asasi ya polisi kuangaisha viongozi wanaoonekana kuelemea mlengo wa naibu wa rais yule ambaye ni Gachagua. Major Donk na Gakuya waliweza kuchukuliwa kule kwenye ofisi za DCI, wakahojiwa, simu zao zimechukuliwa na wametishwa kwamba watashtakiwa. Kwa hivyo tumeweza kukimbia mahakamani. Justice Mita ameweza kusimamisha kukamatwa kwao, kufanyiwa uchunguzi wowote ule mpaka tarehe 17 mwezi wa Septemba, wakati ambapo tutakuwa mahakamani. Tumepewa siku 7 tuweze kuwapatia makaratasi wale DCI, wale ambao ni Attorney General na wale ambao wanajaribu kuwaandaa watu wale. Onyo letu ni kwamba yule polisi ambaye atatumiwa kwa njia ambayo sheria haimkubali, tuna instructions za kumshtaki kwa jina lake. Tuna instructions za kumshtaki kwa ranki yake. Hatutamshtaki kama kitengo cha polisi ama kitengo cha upelelezi. Asante.